Hey, everybody. Welcome to PAX 8 Live. Partners, you're probably wondering what in your tech strategy is missing. All right, well, today on Technically Unraveled, we are going to crack open the ecosystem and find out. So, today we are going to be covering data and AI. It's a hot topic right now. We want to make sure we're really exploring why does this matter to you as partners? We're going to definitely talk about Microsoft Fabric and the capabilities. There's a lot of talk on this in the channel right now. What does Microsoft Fabric mean? And what can it do for you as a partner? We're also going to hit on data insights. We can't talk about data and AI and Fabric and not really hit on what can this actually do for your business. So this is super, super important. So let's get started. AI, modern work, security.
We'll unravel it for you.
Welcome back. My name is Kristen Fehrenbach. I am the Senior Director of Microsoft Go-to-Market here at PAX 8. Thank you so much for joining today. But if you're not here live with us, please remember, you can always check these out on demand. The cool part is it's more than just Technically Unraveled. We love to have you here with myself and David Powell. We got the game with Matt Lee. We've got Academy Live with the rest of the Academy team. So you've got awesome people like Dom Kirby. You've got Chris Kaiser, Rex, all of these amazing people. Don't forget Bessie. Look, you don't want to miss out. All kinds of different shows happening, all kinds of different topics that are really tailored for our partners here at PAX 8 and the channel. So please make sure you're checking those out. But the way that you are always going to know about it, you please subscribe, like, and share. Want to make sure that the word's getting out because everybody, there's some really great team on the back end here at PAX 8 Studios that puts these together. So big shout out to that team. All right, today we have a first time guest. I'm really excited to bring on Joe Scanlan. He is our new director that's joined our global go to market team. So, Joe, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Hey,
Awesome. I'm so happy to have you join us. I say new, but in PAX 8, years, you've been here forever. You're an
yeah.
old timer. So tell us who you are and what you do here at PAX 8.
Yeah, so hey, good afternoon. I'm a go-to-market director here at PAX 8, specializing in Azure data and AI services. So Fabric, Azure OpenAI, cognitive services, everything in between. I'm your guy.
I love it. So you're new to the show. And we got to get to know you a little bit because, we always get to know people as we go through. Like we will always play that clip of Elliot saying, don't sell Azure, right? Because Azure
Yeah.
is going to sell itself on the back end. So we're going to get one of those clips of you, but I want you to share a fun fact with us if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Actually, this one's really cool. So I was out camping in the mountains near Gunnison, Colorado, a few weeks ago, and I got to see the Northern Lights for the first time. I was out just stargazing. I knew the event was going to be happening, but I really didn't expect too much to get out of it. But I was looking at the Big Dipper, and all of a sudden, the sky started lighting up pink. And all my life, I thought the Northern Lights were just hues of green, so it caught me off guard, but it was just a beautiful moment, and I just got to experience it for the first time. So that's my fun fact.
That's not edited at all.
No, no, I just took that on my iPhone. It was a long exposure just because it was nighttime, but it was just on
That
my
is
iPhone.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that it was pink.
yeah, it was super cool. And I heard
Nice.
reports like uh, some folks across the country, you couldn't really see it with your eyes, and some folks like enhanced it with just various software. But no, I just took that photo, no Instagram, no nothing, and I could see it with with the naked eye. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, that is awesome. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Well, look, this show, we cover a lot in a short amount of time. So we are just going to dive right in. I want to go to square one,
let's do it.
data and AI, because it's talked about a lot. Look, I want to just really kind of halt the brakes. I want to go just a quick overview. What is data and AI and why do partners actually care about it?
Yeah. So Over the past year, many of us have used AI tools like ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, and there's so many more out there. And we're already seeing the ways that generative AI is transforming our daily lives. It's transforming the way we work. It's it's augmenting the way we drive efficiencies. It's helping us get past writer's block. But at the core of good AI is quality data. And that's exactly what Microsoft Fabric can help out with.
Interesting. Okay, so AI is definitely here. It's come through with just by storm, right? So at the end of the day, like partners, I know they're being asked about it, but it can actually give them an edge if I'm understanding everything that I'm seeing, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like,
So,
how does that actually change the landscape for them?
yeah. So to set the stage, to quote Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Microsoft Fabric is the biggest release of a data product since SQL Server. And I just want to let that sink in for a second because SQL has been around for a long time. And Fabric, in a nutshell, it's a data analytics platform that brings together a ton of pre existing tools like Data Factory for getting data in Azure. It brings together data warehousing, Synapse Analytics for running machine learning models on your data, and of course, Power BI for developing rich visuals like executive dashboards, etc. And Fabric offers that single platform to experience all of that on your own data. So it's a really exciting time to be in the field of data and AI because to get to all these cool generative AI solutions and customizing it with your own data, Fabric is the bedrock of all of that.
Awesome. And I was over here looking at this and it says that 87% of organizations believe this is going to be a competitive edge. Like
Yep.
this stat is insane. So almost 90% of organizations think that AI is going to somehow transform their business. But Joe, you're sitting here telling me that behind all this AI, I've got to have a good data source.
Yep.
So I think this kind of leads us right into like this fabric discussion that I want to have with you because it's something that I know that you're passionate about. And we're doing a lot of work here at Pax8 to really enable partners as we go. But can you just tell me, like, what is fabric? How can partners actually harness the data and actually produce insights from it this way?
Yeah. So to coin the term, Fabric democratizes a lot of data analytics. So, as I said before, it brings together a lot of these tools, but for MSPs and small to medium sized businesses, it grants them a ton of these capabilities of using built-in connectors in Fabric to connect an on-premises SQL database, to ingest and bring in Excel worksheets, and even non-Microsoft data sources. And it enables you to run pre-built data pipelines and pre-built machine learning notebooks. So you can basically plug in your data to garner these insights without needing a full staff of data engineers or data scientists. And it's all fully pay as you go. So it's highly elastic, very approachable. I mean, there's about as much compute as you could possibly want, as you might expect from Microsoft Azure. They have data centers across the country, across the world. But you can also start off really small too. So it's approachable for the SMB.
I like it. So, where does fabric really like fit into the stack? Because everybody's familiar with Power BI, right? So, like, how does it all fit together?
Yeah. So think of Power BI being at the very end of the spectrum. You're developing those visuals off of very structured, cleansed, and transformed data. But at the beginning, you have the data needs to be written to a database somewhere. Okay, so we have a point of sale system or various departments for a business. But with Fabric, you ingest all of that data into a single source. So think about your typical business. They may have CRM software, they might have accounting software, multiple databases, just different sprawl of data silos over the course of years of doing business. Fabric offers an opportunity to bring all of those data sources into a single location so that for the CIO, they can have a single spot to manage secure access and governance to their data. But but from there, you can have a single source of transforming that data. Like I said, there's pre-built data pipelines that Microsoft has offered in Fabric so that you can plug in your data, transform it, and develop those rich visuals in a single experience. And one thing I'll add on top of that is if you hit a certain Fabric capacity threshold, we'll hit on that in a second, but think about capacity is your virtualized bucket of compute that basically powers the whole Fabric experience. All of those tools, Data Factory, Synapse Analytics, all of it. If you hit a certain, like, let's call it Fabric F64 capacity, it's about $8,000 a month. You can save about 40% if you do 1 year reserved instance, but you get Copilot to light up AI into every Fabric experience. So that especially if you're just chartering this territory for the first time and you don't have a data engineer or data scientist on hand, you can use natural language just as you would like with a ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot. You can use that to help build custom data pipelines and Power BI reports.
Let's okay, hold on. Because we had that last graphic up and it's Copilot Fabric, right? Like it says it on
Yep.
here. So you're telling me, yeah, this graphic. So you're telling me, all right, I'm obviously not back here building reports, Joe. Like I think we
Yeah.
can level set on that, right? But if all the data is organized in such a fashion, I would be able to go into Copilot and say, tell me my modern work sales from last month. And it would be able to help me determine this.
Yeah, exactly. Or you could use it to help kind of merge tables across different data sources to create Power BI visuals so that you can, like, for example, if you might have a manufacturing customer, you can help manage inventory or forecasted sales and create visuals out of that. But I want to be clear, Copilot and Fabric at the F64 capacity, and Fabric starts at F2 capacity. F2 is about 270 bucks a month. Again, you can save about 40%, bring it down to less than 200 bucks per month with reserved. But at F64, you get Copilot embedded into each Fabric experience. This is separate from Microsoft 365 Copilot. So remember, Microsoft 365 Copilot, that's for lighting up your Microsoft 365 apps like Word, Outlook, Teams, whereas Fabric Copilot is a separate experience. Those are more for your data oriented experiences. So if you want help with AI for building a data pipeline, for developing an automatic way to ingest multiple SQL databases and merge that data and transform it and then plug it into a machine learning notebook to forecast demand or forecast customer churn, you can do that. I mean, you can use Copilot to augment your work or potentially eliminate the need or reduce the need for having a data scientist or data engineer on hand.
Wow. Okay. Okay. We're getting fully here. So I like it. So all right. We've talked about F2, F64. Look, you're telling me that we can do all these magical things with the data. It's all going to be the single source of truth, right?
Yep.
You said it could start at this, but it really sounds like it's going to be $1 million. Okay. So, like, how, if I'm a partner, how do I get started? How do I make sure it's not $1 million, Joe?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is a question we get all the time at PAX 8. So I want to break it down as simply as I can. So, fabric pricing is basically two things: you're paying for capacity and you're paying for the data you store in Fabric. And capacity is going to account for about 95% of your costs. And storage is about 2 to 5 cents per gigabyte per month stored. Depending on the level of business continuity, disaster recovery, it just depends. But in general, these days, storage is really cheap. So let's go back to Fabric capacity because that's going to be the bulk of your cost. Entry starting point for Fabric starts at F2 capacity. If you just do a quick web search of Microsoft Fabric pricing, it'll link you directly to the pricing page. It makes it super easy. But Fabric F2 capacity is your entry point to starting, and that's about $270 per month. It's going to vary slightly depending on region: East US, West US, and Germany. It'll just vary. But that's the starting point. Um, Scaling all the way up to F64. I mean, there's in between there, there's F4, F8, and then let's go up to F64. That's where you unlock Copilot embedded into every experience. You unlock free Power BI report sharing across your organizations and many more details, or many more features, but F64 might be out of the price range of most folks getting started. Since it's about $8,000 per month, you can bring it down to 5,000 if you go 1 year reserved. But as I hit on before, if you have multiple customers that are very data focused, you can basically scale up about as much compute as you could possibly need. It goes all the way up to F2048, which currently costs about $300,000 per month, although probably 99% of people aren't going to need that. But starting with F2, it's very easy to approach. And the actual fabric capacity, your virtualized bucket of compute, there's no need to spin up an Apache Spark environment. All of that is fully managed for you. That is just the engine that's going to power the full fabric experience. But that fabric capacity, you can stop and start it just as you would a regular virtual machine in Azure. So that if you don't have a 24/7 requirement for the business, you can reduce costs by tying in a logic app to turn it off at 2 a.m. on a Saturday or resuming it at 5 a.m. on a Monday.
Huh.
Oh,
Okay. So, yeah,
and
no, go.
and one thing I would like to add, for those just getting started, Microsoft has a great offer right now. They have a 60-day free trial. Just search Fabric free trial or go to that link that we're sharing right now. But it's a really easy way. The Fabric 60-day trial gives you F64 capacity, a ton of compute to test out the experience for 60 days. You can build data pipelines, you can build Power BI reports, and once your trial expires, you can migrate that to an F2 capacity or based on your usage, migrate it to whatever you need. But it's really easy to get started, no strings attached for 2 months.
It's like I started to breathe and I was gonna be like, what if I just want to dip my toe in the water? And then you like felt me going that way, Joe. So no,
Felt it.
it sounds like there's like boats for any kind of partner, right? So like even if I am just getting started, I'm saying like, hey, you know what? I just want to dip my toe in. Obviously there's a trial, but you have this F2 feature all the
Yep.
way up to I did not quite $1 million, but it sounds like a whole lot. So I
Yeah.
mean, it really is that flexible motion. Okay. I'm
Yep.
feeling pretty good here. All right. But this all sounds very nice, right? I like to know that things work. So, like, do you have any maybe use cases that we can just talk through? Like, how does it actually function in the real world?
Yeah. So it's going to highly depend on the type of customers or organizations that you're supporting. There are some clear use cases for supporting healthcare customers to manage records or to track real time alerts for medicine temperature. I mean, what you get with Fabric is a full suite of data ingestion, storage, transformation, real time analytics, and Power BI visuals. So, really, this could apply to so many industries. For example, manufacturing. If you have a manufacturer that needs to efficiently manage inventory, plug in your databases, plug in the data pipelines to efficiently track that data, to have it stored in a single format. um, I don't want to dive too deep into the technical lingo, but one thing that I think is really cool about Fabric, and that I think that Satya Nadella at Microsoft wanted to call out on the release of Fabric, is the way that a lot of these products that roll up into Fabric have been re-engineered. So when you ingest your data and store it in Fabric, the source files themselves don't change, but the way they're written in Fabric and stored in there does. They're stored in what's called Delta Parquet format. And without losing some of the listeners, just know that it's stored in a single consistent format so that Fabric isn't introducing yet another data silo. Parquet is a universal format so that if you want to interact with your data with an external source, you can do that outside of the Microsoft ecosystem. You can do that. If you have going back to specific industries, if you have a government customer that you want to track headcount or recruitment of resumes, structured or unstructured data, it doesn't matter. You can dump that into Fabric, run analytics in it, plug it into pre built machine learning models without needing full staff of very niche knowledge. Basically, plug and play with your industry and unlock the insights of your data. It's there for you in Fabric.
Okay, I'm getting a little excited here. And I think we've debunked this, but it gives me a little heartburn, Joe. So I'm going to ask you just flat out because I've had a partner tell me that fabric's just not for SMB. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I've heard that too, but I think that comes from a misunderstanding of what Fabric is. And I'll give them credit because many times when Microsoft releases a product or releases something on Azure, it's focused on enterprise scale customers. But really, this is a significant opportunity for small to medium sized businesses to unlock enterprise grade capabilities at a fraction of the cost. Going back to the pricing, Fabric F2 capacity starting at about 270 bucks a month, you can bring that down to less than $200 a month with reserved capacity. Really for $200 a month to unlock a full data analytics platform. I mean, what what kind of value do you think you could drive out of unlocking the power in your data? Driving predictive analytics, running machine learning models without needing a data scientist? That might cost $100,000 a year or $5,000 over the course of a contract engagement. Really, it opens up so many windows for really a very reasonable price, $200 to $300 a month to unlock. I mean, you see it on the screen here, a ton of different products. Um,
That's what I was
it's
just looking at.
yeah,
I'm like, there's so
yeah,
many products on here
yeah,
that fabric can really just be in the middle of and make sure that it's a
yeah,
true collaborative experience throughout because there are some people that use Slack or this or that. So, like, being able to pull in from so many different sources, that's super beneficial.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I would just ask small to medium businesses, uh, run the numbers. If you purchase Fabric F2 capacity, let's call it $300 a month. We'll even round up over the course of a year. Let's call it $4,000. Could you drive 5x or 10x return on investment by developing visuals for your customers, developing rich dashboards, predicting customer churn, retaining customers, driving more sales? Uh, it's gonna depend on the business. It'll depend on the industry, but I would really challenge the small to medium business for the entry point of $200 to $300 a month, and kind of really reducing the barrier to entry of data engineers and data scientists. You can do a lot of this on your own today with natural language, and there's a ton of free content on there with the Fabric community, blogs, YouTube, Pax8 Academy. I mean, you name it. I'm developing Fabric content as we speak. But I would challenge and push back on the SMBs who are hesitant, and try out the 60-day free trial. See if it's for you. See if you can start generating insights and start generating ROI on that price point. Because to me, there's a lot of value on the table.
It's like it could be a whole new revenue stream, right? Like
Yeah.
at this point, if you're building all these dashboards, you're giving these insights. Now you've got a data driven business. Sounds like a new, interesting. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I got very in the weeds on fabric because I got a little excited, but we've talked about fabric. We've hit on Copilot a little. The next thing that is going to come up is data governance and security go up
Yeah.
because I've got all this data. I've got obviously some security concerns, right? Can you just give us some insights on maybe are there products that can assist with this? Like, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah. So I want to start with security. So with Fabric, I mean, it lives in Azure. So with that, you get full integration with Defender for Cloud for security. But even in Fabric, you can control from the tenant level down to the object level. And even within a database, you can control specific rows and columns in a database to give access to. You can have full granular access to define who can provision capacity, who has access to certain data points. I mean, when we think about the current state of businesses with multiple data silos, data sprawl, having to manage access across different systems, different operating systems, as time goes on, it becomes more of a headache, becomes more complex. Fabric makes a lot of that easy by bringing that data into a single platform so that you can efficiently manage access. And for data governance, Microsoft Purview kind of supercharges Fabric and provides one of the most powerful tools on the market for data governance and data analytics. So Purview is Microsoft's flagship data governance offering, and it integrates seamlessly with Fabric. So with Purview, you get automatic data discovery, data sensitivity labels, data classification, data lineage, so that from data creation from source to transformation to developing visuals, you can track exactly what's happened to that data and exactly where that data is located, unlike most other tools on the market today. So for security and data governance, layer on, Azure security tools, the Defender Suite and Purview, you get one of the most powerful tools on the market for analytics, security, and data governance.
I love it. It's funny. Before we got on this podcast today, I was just kind of typing in, I was like commonly asked questions about Fabric. The number one question: what is Fabric? So, Joe, if you've got to take this whole conversation
Yeah.
and say, what is Fabric? How do you condense that?
Yeah. Um, and again, we get asked this question nearly every day at PAX 8. Some people say it's an AI tool, some people say it's a data tool. In a nutshell, again, Fabric is a data analytics tool. There are elements of AI and machine learning in it, but it's a data analytics tool. So, um, to break it down a little bit further, it brings in data ingestion, data storage, data transformation through built-in machine learning models, and data visuals through Power BI. There's even real-time alerts and real-time monitoring if you have IoT devices across your estate. Uh, but really, in sum, it is a modern data analytics platform.
I love it. Now, I know we're going to get close on time here, but us at PAX 8, every employee we are licensed with M365 Copilot. So before I let you go, Joe, I need to know, what is your favorite prompt that you've been using recently?
Yeah, this one's my go-to. I'm sure some listeners can relate. We run at a million miles a minute. Our work lives are just ridiculously busy. And sometimes it's tough to keep track of all the acronyms and different project names that get renamed over time. So I love using Copilot to help me understand and get a reality check on acronyms and projects. I also like to use it to point me to specific like PowerPoint decks or sales pitches. It makes it really easy for me to find information, kind of like a data dictionary.
You know what? I used an acronym the other day and somebody went, "What does that stand for?" I was like, "That's irrelevant. That's what it's called." And
Yeah.
we just, so I'm going to use that, Joe. Joe,
Yeah.
thank you so
Use
much for
Copilot.
this. I know, right? This
Cool.
this session's been super super useful. Thank you for the deep dive, and
Yeah.
I know you're going to have to come back. I know there's a lot more to cover.
Happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe. All right. We got a Copilot tip of the week for you. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, it's Nathan here with your Copilot tip of the week. There's a lot of customers and partners that are just starting their Copilot journey, and one of the first things that we need to tackle is making sure you've got access to Copilot in all of your applications. One of the first bits of advice I'll give you is making sure that Copilot is available to you in Teams. So load up your Teams platform, click on the three dots on the left-hand side, and select Copilot as an app. To ensure it doesn't disappear, right-click on it and pin it to your bar. One of the first things you can do is ask it to summarize all messages where you were mentioned last week, ensuring you stay on top of all of your work and you don't miss out on anything that you need to do. That's this week's CoPilot tip of the week. See you next week.
Big thank you, Nathan and Joe. Another show wrapped up. Look, I want to see you back this next week, so please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Next week, I am back with you. We are going to talk about Beyond Berlin. Please make sure you check it out. We'll see you there. Bye, everybody.